Welcome to the Biz Bash podcast, where we make biz strategy a piece of cake. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cami, but you might know us better as Eliza Ann Calligraphy and Cami Monet. We want to help you, our fellow stationers, artists, and calligraphers, confidently build a profitable and personality-driven creative biz.
We're here to share our honest-to-goodness advice and actionable strategies for ambitious artists.
So put on your party hat, quit being a procrastinator gator, and let's get this party started.
Hello, lovely party people. Welcome back to the Biz Birthday Bash podcast. We have another cute and cake ready to go for you guys today. It is our 24th one, and we have a lot of great questions today. Some really short, some a little longer, kind of a little mixed bag here, but it's kind of funny because Cami and I are recording 2 Q and Cake episodes today on the day that we're doing this, plus our 100th episode, which is where we're also asking each other questions. So basically, we're just going to spend like 5 hours asking each other questions today.
It really feels like an interview day. And also, this is the second time you've said mixed bag within 24 hours. And I just have to commend you because it's really fun when you get to use like a word. And that's the word of the day is mixed bag.
You're right. I did say that yesterday because I told Cami, I was like, it's just going to be a mixed bag, okay? I was like, you're overthinking it. It's just going to be a mixed bag.
It's a mixed bag, everybody. All the next episodes are all mixed bags. So get ready to mix up your bags because we're mixing them.
That's like me and the word wild. Like one day I started saying wild and then I just couldn't stop saying it. I was like, that's wild. Wow.
And it just
wild.
became your thing.
Just became part of my vernacular overnight. And I was like, where did I get that from? Because both Will and I started doing it. And I was like, did we get it from each other? Did one of us get it from a TV show? And then the other one picked it up? Because like I feel like spouses tend to do that, you know?
Yeah, you start to say the same stupid things that each other says because I say really weird things and I'll be like, oh, let me get a little sippy do of that drink. And now Alex is like, can I have a little sippy do of that? And he'll be like, he's like, why do I say things like this? or just random little dumb things like that. And he's like, ooh, we can have a little sippy do. Or I'm always like, let's get delightful sandwiches. And he's like, do you want to go out to lunch and get a delightful sandwich? And I'm like, yes. Or everyone will be like, what does a delightful sandwich mean? Alex is like, I don't even know. That's just what Cami calls them. And I have a very distinct thing on what a delightful sandwich is versus a non-delightful sandwich. And I don't really know how to explain it, but he knows the difference. So
He knows.
He knows. So we get sippy doos.
Oh, wait. I have a question for you. I want to see if this qualifies as a delightful sandwich.
Okay.
So Will and I are getting ready to go on our beach vacation, which is like 2 weeks at the Outer Banks with my mom's side of the family. And we do it every other year. And every couple's in charge of making a dinner. So Will and I are making sandwiches, but are they delightful? Because it's like ciabatta with grilled chicken, apple slices, and pesto, and like mayonnaise, I think. So it's like really simple, but really good. Is that delightful?
I feel like that could be a delightful sandwich for sure. But I'd have to taste it, and then I would be able to let you know. It's also about presentation. So, and just like a classic ham and cheese could be a delightful sandwich, but Subway is not a delightful sandwich. Okay. So.
No, Subway. No.
Fun fact about Subway. Did you know there are more Subways than there are like McDonald's and Burger King combined? They're like the most prolific fast food restaurant.
Is it because they cost less to franchise?
I have no idea, but like they're literally everywhere. Like you'll start noticing them everywhere because they're always in like gas stations, in the boondocks, and just like everywhere. But they have like the most restaurants. I don't know why, but I just always think that's so interesting because in your mind you're like, it's McDonald's, but it's not. It's Subway. So watch out.
Yeah.
They're sneakily taking over.
And McDonald's is interesting because I think McDonald's, like, I watched that movie with Michael Keaton.
Oh, I watched that too. Yeah.
It was really good, but also kind of depressing because doesn't McDonald's like own the land their restaurants is on or something? Because they're also like a real estate mogul on top of a fast food mogul.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember all that.
I think that was like one of the crazy things that they started doing was, oh yeah, they like owned the land that the franchisees were franchising on. So that added a really complicated layer to everything. And I don't know if it's still like that today, but I mean, He basically stole the idea from like two brothers.
I know. Such a fascinating story. Oh, man, but so good.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So anyway, where were you? We were talking about delightful sandwiches. We just got
Welcome
totally
to Cammie and Elizabeth talk about food all day.
I know.
We actually could talk about food all day.
I know. Now I'm going to have a delightful sandwich for lunch. I'm going to text Alex and be like, we need delightful sandwiches. So maybe he'll bring something.
Or toast. Toast.
I just had a piece of toast. I thought it was my second breakfast.
Second breakfast. I love that. Of course.
Oh, yes.
It's only natural. Only fitting.
It's only
all
fitting.
right. Let's go ahead and get started, you guys. I will ask the very first question because I think this is a good one for Cammie to answer.
Okay.
All right. This is from Anna B. She didn't put her Instagram handle, but she asked, how do you take your product photos, especially on a white background? I'm using natural light, but when I edit the photo, I'm having trouble getting a crisp and clear white background. Also, how do you choose your props? Thank you.
Well, Anna B. I just love that name. Okay. I literally feel like I'm talking to a Bachelorette contestant. Well, one, just a little side tangent here. I definitely want to do a full episode talking about this. We can like really deep dive. But for this Q and Cake with taking product photos, obviously you want to try to take it in front of like a window or something, unless you have like a studio light, which you probably don't because I don't. Who has that? But taking it in front of a window is going to help so much with the light balance, making sure you don't have like super harsh shadows and things like that with like nice, soft, diffused light. And then when it comes to getting that nice, clear, white background, like true white, you have to edit the living tar out of it. I mean, that's just the reality. Like anything I take in my office, it still has like a greenish or a yellowish tint to the white. And so it's all about like adjusting the white balance, I think is what it's called. But I will literally do a lot of edits on my phone in Lightroom. I've created presets for myself for literally different spots in my office where I can just click on a preset. But even then, the white is still not as white as I want it to be. So for product photos, I will take the ones I've edited in Lightroom, airdrop them to my computer, and then I'll edit them in Photoshop using you can use like the curves tool and do it for just the white, and it'll make like a really quick adjustment. I know this is like super overview, but using the curves tool for just like the white eyedropper, you can click on like a really light part of the image and it'll adjust the white to have the right temperature. You can also play with the temperature, like making it cooler or lighter, because that like the white just shows so much of like an undertone of a warm color or a cool color. So that's helpful. And then using the dodge tool to get rid of more shadows. And that's kind of like my little instant potion for getting good clear photos with a white background. And then if you really do a good job, you can kind of edit out, like erase the background and then just do white behind it and make sure the product is just there. But you still want to keep the shadow so it looks realistic. So that's a little trickier. You got to do a little finagling there. But those are like the main ways I do it. But the most important thing is just starting with like really good natural light. I mean, if you're taking it at night with like, you know, lights from your ceiling or something, or like a lamp, it's just not, you're just going to have a really hard time. So like setting yourself up for success from the beginning is going to be really, really helpful. And then in terms of choosing props, how do I choose props? A lot of the photos I take, I don't use props, but you just want to make sure your props are like the proper scale. So your image works proportionally. Like if you're taking a picture of a car, you don't want to like giant, I don't know, fan next to it. I was just trying to find something right. Like, let's say you're taking a picture of a greeting card. You don't want like a huge book next to it that just
how about
overwhelms.
How about a shoe? Because that's
shoe.
some people get really
stationary.
annoyed about with wedding stationery. They're like, please stop putting shoes by my wedding paper.
I know. Yeah, don't do the shoes. So just figuring out like the scale and then making sure like the placement of it, kind of make sure your eye just kind of like go in. I'm doing a little like circle motion, but you just want your eye to like kind of go in a little circle motion around it so it doesn't feel like very jarring. Like, why is this thing over here? And then as long as the props kind of all make sense and evoke a feeling, I think that's really important when choosing props. Like if you're doing something for Christmas, you know, having like some marshmallows or like candy or like, you know, some greenery, like those things that evoke that like feeling of what you're trying to like showcase your product as, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. And this is so much of this is a practice thing. Like I remember doing, oh gosh, when I first started out trying to figure out exactly the same thing. You can scroll back and like either of Cammie and I's feeds and you'll see what it looked like kind of back in 2015 when we were first starting to do flat lays and learn how to take products of our photos and stuff like that. I mean, it's not an overnight like feat by any means. I mean, it's a long time of doing it and then kind of knowing what props you want to choose, what speaks to your brand. So that's like a whole nother element of it. Choosing things like that you like the color of, that photograph well, because there's things I've definitely loved looking at, like having in my office that don't photograph well. So
yeah,
it's a balance.
It's definitely a balance, and it's definitely a struggle. So I definitely want to do, I just said definitely 3 times. Definitely, maybe, guys. I really want to do an episode about this and just like talking more in depth. Maybe we can even bring someone on, like a photographer who I know, possibly.
Oh, yes. That's a good teaser. I love that. Okay, Cami, would you like to read our next question?
Yes, I would. Okay, here we go. It says, this one's from Anonymous, and she says, "Hi, ladies. My question is, how can you post on stories and be present in your feed when you are embarrassed about your face? In the last 2 years, I have suddenly developed rosacea, which there is no cure for, and also have some scarring on my cheeks. I'm so scared to show my face because my business is my livelihood, but everyone keeps telling me I need to basically be an influencer for my own products on Instagram. I even polled my followers once on how important it is to them to know the face behind the brand, and it was overwhelming that they said it's super important to know the maker. I'm just feeling discouraged on creating an Instagram strategy that helps my business grow and be profitable while struggling with not showing my face because it's embarrassing. P.S. I can't just cover it up. Makeup makes my flare-ups worse / burns my face, and filters seem to enhance the blotchy redness instead of hiding it. Thanks for any advice."
Sweet friend. Oh my goodness. I know that this is a struggle for a lot of people out there who just don't feel comfortable, like regardless of the condition your skin is in. Sometimes people don't feel comfortable showing their face. That's a really big process and a hurdle for people to get over. But I also feel like, Cami, that there are really great ways that you can get to know the person behind the brand without necessarily having to show your face on Instagram stories. Like, I'm kind of thinking in this instance, possibly if she were to do something like a photo shoot and do some post in the feed, and then that allows you to do a little bit more like intentional touch-ups if you're not comfortable with filters or things like that, if that makes sense. Because then you can get some like really beautiful photos for your brand and who you are in your business, and make sure that those photos look how you want them to look and how you want to be presented to your people if you feel like you are struggling with the condition that your skin is in or something like that. But also, I just want to say, like, on a relatable note, I mean, a lot of people struggle with acne or breakouts or just the condition of their skin in general. I know a lot of people in my life who have gone through that, and that is not a fun struggle, and it's really challenging because it feels like everyone's always offering you advice on like, do this, do that. And you're like, I literally have tried everything, but thank you so much. And I want to say too, if you get to the place someday where you're feeling like brave enough to share or comfortable enough to share, like people also don't mind that vulnerability, or sometimes they like knowing that you are human, if that makes sense. So like if you eventually get to the emotional place where you step past feeling embarrassed about the condition of your skin, maybe you can turn it into something that you share with your audience, because chances are somebody else might be struggling and experiencing exactly the same thing. And that's totally up to you, because obviously, like, if your brand is products or services, maybe you don't want to talk about that. But like a big name that comes to mind for me is Jordan Lee Dooley. She is an author and kind of an influencer, an inspirational person. And I know that she has struggled with her skin for a long time. And I think even Jenna Kutcher actually went through like a huge phase of struggling with her skin too. And at the end of the day, what they really did was open up to their audiences and share a lot of that. And so that could be like really uncomfortable for you and maybe something that you don't necessarily want to do. But there are ways that you can go about it. Like you can share, I don't know, Cami, if you'd agree with this or not, but you can share a lot of like showing the studio and like picking things up and showing things with your hands and showing your pets. Like you don't have to stick your face into Instagram stories.
Yeah, definitely. But what I would say too, I mean, like everything Elizabeth said is like spot on, but I'm like, just make this part of your story. I mean, I think it's going to be so powerful if you show up and you're like, this isn't like the best day for me. I'm like breaking out or whatever, but I'm here anyway. And you guys, I know some other people struggle with that too. You're going to be so surprised by how many people come to you and be like, I'm so thankful that you showed up like this, because honestly, we're all kind of sick of seeing perfection in our feeds. And so if you can just be a real person, like that is truly getting to meet the maker. Like I think you're taking a little bit extreme where you're like, everything has to be put out has to be perfect and presented perfectly, but it doesn't have to be like that. Like you can be vulnerable and show the real you. Like that's so important of meeting the maker, showing who you really are. And I think that's definitely going to be part of your story. And I think it could be a really powerful way to put yourself out there. I think it'll be okay. And also on a more practical tip, on days where I'm not feeling like showing up on Instagram and just like, man, I don't really feel like showing up. Like I just put on a cute outfit. And let me tell you, that just makes a huge difference. If you're not feeling confident that day, just be like, you know what? I'm going to put on my cutest outfit. I'm going to fix my hair. I'm going to get on here and just go for it. Because like when you look good, you feel good. You know what I'm saying? So when you're wearing like your cute outfit, it immediately makes you feel better about yourself and just, understand that we're all not perfect. We all got stuff going on. Like I know I've been on Instagram stories with like boogers hanging out of my nose and I'm like, well, you know what? That happened and it's fine. Like, so I would just make it part of your story and let that be the real you that you show, because people are going to be very, very attracted to that. I think it's very, very powerful. And also, you are beautiful no matter what. So there's that little side tangent there too.
Yes. I know it sucks because like Instagram culture feels like so much that it's built around a certain perception of beauty, and that kind of like stinks for everybody because it's a standard that is not like it's like the 1% or whatever. And so I think if you remind yourself, first of all, that you are like human and that everyone else here is human too and like far from perfection. And second of all, I like to play a game with myself called What is the Worst Thing That Could Happen? And so what is the worst thing that you could happen? Like that you show up in your feed and you talk and that your skin condition and your breakouts and your flares are a little worse that day. Are a couple people going to unfollow you? And if they do, that is their problem. But in this situation, I see that as the what is the worst thing that could happen scenario is that a couple people would unfollow and then they've got to go deal with that because that is like an inner heart problem on their end. It has absolutely nothing to do with you and who you are as a human. And so if you frame it as that way, just to be like, the stakes in this situation are actually really low. Like I'm actually probably going to benefit my business and benefit myself as showing up who I am with my breakouts, with my skin not being up to par or where I want it to be. But at the end of the day, like Cami said, like building that vulnerability with your audience and sharing your story, it will only open more doors for you at the end of the day. Like, I think that is the truth. But I know, like, I truly do know how scary it is and have had friends deal with that and family members deal with that. And it stinks. So you just got to step up and be confident. I don't know what else to like say. You got to decide either like I'm going to infuse personality into my brand with sharing like pets and tours of my studio and stuff if I'm not ready to share my face, or you just jump to the next thing and you're like, all right, I'm freaking doing it. And I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, exactly. You just kind of go in like, you know what? This is my page. This is my life. And I'm sharing. Everyone can just get over it because like Elizabeth says, like, what's the worst that could happen? I am like, my little phrase is, in the grand scheme of life, does this really matter? And then that just, there's another way to think about it. So
right.
Just get out there and you can do it. And then tag us so we can say hello and cheer you on.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because we know she did submit her name with this question, but just because it is more sensitive, I put anonymous in case, I don't know, like, but broadcasting something personal like this, I just wanted to be like sensitive of that. So just to clarify.
Yeah. Oh, showing up on Instagram stories. It's a big struggle for lots of folks. So, I mean,
it's a big struggle, right? It's a big struggle for a lot of people, even if they don't necessarily, even if they do have clear skin, it can still be a total like confidence struggle thing.
Yeah. It gets easier though. Like it just like once you just start doing it, then it just becomes second nature and you just don't even care anymore. So
yeah, it's true. It's true. All right. Are you ready for the next one, Cami?
Yeah.
I will read this one to you.
Okay.
Hey guys. Oh, I guess I should say this is from design by _D. DEE. All right. Hey guys. So I've been searching for a creative job to apply my graphic design degree that I got in 2019. I've been looking into and really falling in love with the idea of becoming a wedding stationer over the past year. Your podcasts have been my main source of education and inspiration. Oh, I have been struggling with figuring out which lane to take on the highway of wedding stationery design. Should I start with selling digital downloads on Etsy or go straight for collection work or full custom work? Do you have a suggestion as to which one is the best to start out with? I was thinking digital downloads just to get my feet wet, but it doesn't seem very profitable at the end of the day. Love you guys lots. Thanks so much.
Oh man, I'm just like sitting here thinking about it because I'm like, those are three like totally different paths, and I don't feel like one like leads to another. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like they're all three very different roads, and neither one is like, oh, once you take this path, then you connect to this path. Like I don't feel like they necessarily connect. I think a lot of this is gonna depend on, you know, the time you want to invest in your business. Like, is this just a side hustle? Can you only dedicate 5 hours a week, or are you doing it for 20 hours? Or you have full 40 hours? Like the time, how much time do you want to invest? Because obviously, you know, digital downloads require way less time, and then semi-custom, a little bit more time, and then fully custom is the most time. In terms of profitability, fully custom is going to have higher payments, but might not be as profitable depending on volume. But also, what is your audience looking for? There are so many factors to consider here. So I honestly, what I would do if I was in your shoes is obviously all three of these appeal to you. So I would just start looking at the nuances of each and the nitty gritty and start making like a little pros and cons list to figure out what you want. Because at the end of the day, we can't necessarily make this decision for you. I personally would avoid digital downloads starting out with, because I feel like you're going to get burned out by people on Etsy, and you're going to market yourself as like the lower price point starting out. So it's going to be hard to build up from that. Whereas if you started as like custom or semi-custom, you could start adding digital downloads later after you've kind of already established yourself as a designer. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to say too, I mean, she has a degree in graphic design and recently graduated. So I almost think like, all right, you're coming into this with a lot more experience than some people, aka myself, have when they first start. Because I like taught myself Adobe and all of this design work and everything from the ground up over the years. Like I did not have a degree or any like formal training in it. So I almost feel like I don't know, like I feel like you could do a really great job if you wanted to make a collection of invitation suites and try to market that, because like you already kind of, I'm assuming from your years of school, already kind of know who you are as a designer, already know your style and what you want to put out there. And so more than anything, I would just start like literally just start designing invitation suites. I designed an invitation suite in a day the other day. And it was something that I've like been the most proud of in a really long time. I just did like a design blitz, and then my neck was like so sore for 2 days. I could like barely turn my head because I was like hunched over my iPad like a gremlin. And I don't know, the work that was like most true to myself came out in that time. So I would be like, just tell you to first of all, sit down and start designing some suites, like see where that goes. And if you were like, oh, I want to have a semi-custom collection, or I want to do digital downloads, or I want to do fully custom, well, first you need to have like a base point of what is your style? What does that look like? Play around with designing some things, because like maybe if you do it a few times, you realize like, oh, I don't actually like this that much. But if it fuels your fire, then you could be like, what can I do with these designs? Or is there one that's most popular? Or do I put it to a vote on Instagram polls and see what people say and which one they want me to add to my shop? Or, you know, start asking people what they want from you once you start sharing your work, because that might give you a good idea too. Or you could just straight up like build your business plan exactly how you want and go for it, because that always works too. And it's a little more straightforward of a path than like, I feel like I've like weaved over the years with my creative direction.
Yeah. I mean, like the main difference between all these things is how much interaction you're going to have with your client. So if you're like, I don't want to talk to anybody, like you don't want to do custom work, you know? So just keep that in mind. Like each of these has like a level of headache talking to people. And, you know, or does it fire you up to be like, oh, I'm going to take their vision and create something? Or do you want to just like create your own thing and people buy it? Like that like is a huge differentiating factor on what you're going to really, really love. But also you might not know exactly what you love because you're just starting out. So we always all start off doing all different kinds of things. And I don't think there was anything wrong with that. So you could try all three and just kind of like play around with it a little bit, see what kind of sticks or what like really feels good. Because honestly, the best way to figure out if you don't like to do something is if you do it and then you're like, nope, that is not it. So then you just kind of start honing down. So you just start with everything and it just kind of like funnels until you're like, this is the thing. This is what I like to do. So, maybe play around with all of it. This is like the worst advice ever, but honestly, I mean, there is no linear path is what I'm trying to say. Like you might dabble in custom a little bit, might do a semi-custom, might have something on Etsy as like a little passive income. I mean, we don't keep all of our eggs in one basket. I can tell you that much. So be open to things and just like take note of how you're feeling as you're doing it. Like you're like, is this sustainable? Is this something I could keep on doing? Because that's the most important part of it.
Yeah. Like, I guess I can say because hindsight is 2020 that if I look at the scope of the years I've spent in this industry, which is almost 6, which is kind of crazy to say that. I mean, if I go even back to like when I designed stuff for my own wedding, it's technically longer. But I want to say that if I were to look back and be like, do I want to do something that's scalable, that I can hire people, that is replicable, I would probably build a semi-custom collection to go in the direction of like Jessica from Empress Stationery or something like that, where she has had her collection of invitation suites and has a whole team and her husband works with her and everything. Like if I were to rebuild and want something really sustainable long-term, that's probably the direction I would have gone, because it's like Cami said, the amount of energy you want to put towards it, because I feel like the low budget Etsy downloads will lead to burnout pretty quickly. And then sometimes those high-end customs can do the same thing, because you're like the constraints of having to work within what someone else wants instead of putting out the work that you're like, here you go. Like, this is what I'm offering to the world, especially because you already have this graphic design background. I just wanted to like throw in that one more note in terms of the like scalability, building a business that lasts for a long time. I feel like people that have been in the wedding industry a long time doing invitations have collections. That's just how I see it.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, I have like absolutely zero interest of doing a semi-custom collection. So I would rather just do custom because I just prefer that. Like, even though it is higher.
Yeah, and you also, your business is mainly products now too.
Yeah,
so you've taken a big turn.
Is different. But if I was still doing like all wedding invitations, like for the rest of my life, I would still just want to do custom. Like I don't know, semi-custom just doesn't appeal to me for whatever reason. So,
which is so funny because it's like I can see in my head so many things you've made for like notepads and art. I'm like, this would be a great semi-custom.
I know. I'm just like, whatever. I don't know. It just doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't like fire me up. Like I really do enjoy the custom side, even though it is like, can be a struggle. But like, I don't know. There's just like so much satisfaction of finishing a custom job, and you're like, I freaking nailed that. Like it's like mining for gold. Like that's what it's like, and it's just like really fun. So.
You have to be very hands-on if you're going to do custom for eternity, because like Cami, only you can paint everything for a custom suite. You can't hire that out. Whereas if somebody builds a semi-custom collection, they design it once, and then you can hire the infrastructure to help you run that. So it's really like, where do you intend to go with it? I guess take some serious time to be like, where do I want to be in 5 years? And a lot of us still don't even know.
And most of us have no idea what we're doing. So that being said, we don't know.
Sorry,
no,
D.
Kidding.
I'm like,
I feel
sorry.
Like there's just a lot to think about. So hopefully that gives you like some insight on what direction you want to go. I mean, there's just so many ways to go about it, and there's no right answer. And that's honestly like the beauty of it. Like you can have so much fun with it no matter what you choose. It's going to be awesome. So yeah.
Agreed. Okay. Would you like to read the last question?
Yes. Okay. This one says, this is from @nibsandscripts.to. Is there a search function of your Q and Cake episodes? I have lots of questions, but I'm unsure. Still catching up, started listening at the end of 2020, if my question has been answered.
So you can search our website. There is a little search feature in the upper corner of bizbirthdaybash.com, or if you're on mobile, it would probably be in the menu bar if I had to guess. But for example, I just searched Q and Cake on the search bar, and all of the episodes come up. And I'm pretty sure within each episode, it's like you might have to take some time But if you open that up, you'll see the questions in there that have been asked. And you might even be able to see, like, let me see if I can like search keywords to see what comes up. It's hard. It's kind of hard to like search questions though, because I feel like on a website search, you would have to have the exact wording.
Yeah, you just have to be like licensing or whatever.
Yes. Okay. So I'm searching the phrase print at home to see what comes up. It's thinking.
It's thinking.
Okay, yeah, it says your search did not match any documents. So, but what I would do is search Q and Cake on our website and then
because we have the blogs.
Go through the episodes. Yeah, the blog post. So bizbirthdaybash.com/podcast.
And there's the blog post for each episode. And if you went through all the Q and Cake ones, I think we list out what questions we answer.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah, we on each blog post, it has like what questions we answer in that episode. So that's a little old school. But yeah, if you click on the blog post, look at the questions, and then you're like, that's the one I want. We're not super high tech. We don't have it like, oh, and then you go to, 20 seconds in or 20 minutes in, and it's right here. Like, but maybe one day
I guess we could always... I guess we could always create some sort of like spreadsheet to be like, and here's what's been answered in what episode, like make a public spreadsheet if people wanted to have that. That'd probably take me like 20 minutes to do. It wouldn't be that hard.
And there you go. So now Elizabeth is probably going to do that today if I know her at all.
Potentially, you're right. I don't have a ton of stuff on my to-do list, and it won't take that long. So, but that is a pretty easy way to do it, is go through those podcast blogs on our website
and just listen to the episodes on repeat.
On repeat. Yeah, that's the thing. Actually, it's kind of getting funny now when I go through questions to pick out for these episodes that I'm like, oh boy, because sometimes it feels like there are overlapping ones. Like we've definitely answered different things twice in different ways.
Yeah. So ask your question. All that being said, ask your question because we'll answer it.
Yeah.
So just get it in there. That being said, everyone answer or submit your questions at bizbirthdaybash.com/Q and Cake. Post your questions there. We will answer them. We want more questions. We need more questions. Put them there. Elizabeth will put it in a document. It'll be great.
Questions. Por favor.
Más questions.
All right. So before we wrap up today, I want to touch base on one thing really quick because this episode is airing on June 1st. And that means One a Day in May has officially wrapped up at this point, guys. I wish you guys could have seen Cammie's face because she looked like a sad turtle. She was like, oh,
I love One a Day in May. That's okay. We're doing
2 a day in June. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. No, something in July. Do or die in July. Just kidding. That's a little violent. Okay. I don't know. We'll come up with something.
No, doing this once a year is plenty. Honestly, I think I fell off the boat a little bit, like half to 3/4 of the way through, because I'm in vacation mode, guys. I'm about to leave for 2 weeks, and I'm like, I've got to get all the things done. It doesn't leave a lot of headspace.
Yeah, a lot of people fall off the boat after like week 3. It starts off so strong, and then the last week is like, that's when you know who the real troopers are.
It's so hard, and we do know who you guys are. We know, like, gosh, Durham and Doodles. I see her posts come up every single day. I think that's what her username is. I'm going to go check.
Yep, Debbie Wong Design, 1 per week. Lori's crushing it. She's like, I'm doing this the rest of my life. I was like, I love that. She's like, this has been the greatest thing. So yes, like, this is now part of my daily routine. I'm like, I love it.
It's Hannah from Durham Doodles by HK on Instagram. I see her tag me every day, and I'm like, you go, girl. You are crushing it.
Yes, everyone's doing so awesome. It's been so much freaking fun. Like, I mean, I launched a whole collection out of One a Day in May. So it's just cool. Just never know what's going to happen, So
your summer collection this year came out of it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was like, because all the stuff I was doing was like secret for like the first week. And I was like, I did it, but no one ever saw it, And I was like, this is a really weird way to do One a Day in May because I'm not sharing it. But I'm like, it'll all come out because that was like the plan. So it all kind of worked out.
Did you mention Cindy from The Hustling Heart? I feel like I've seen her stuff a lot too.
No, I could like list off a bunch of names if I go to my DMs real quick.
Yeah, I'm in my DMs. I'm like sitting here. Dip Script and Watercolors. I see her stuff come up every day.
Paints, Carrie.
Handwritten by Kat. She's been doing a ton.
Noelle from Artful New Creation. I'm going to add this to my story right now because that's really cool.
Oh, yeah. Jamie Moore in design. She's been doing a ton of patterns that have been really great.
Mary Beth from Dip Script and Watercolors. Yeah.
I had just said hers.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she got named twice. That's fine.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Who's this? I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to find out. My DMs are bananas during One a Day in May. I have no idea what's happening. Like, I try to share people's tags and stuff, but then I'm like, I don't want to like post every single one every day because people get confused. It's a lot, right? They're like, can I buy this from you? And I'm like, no, this is someone else. Like, you need to go to their page and ask them. Or like, how much is this? And one lady got really mad. Because I shared Lori's sketches of her from One Per Week. She was doing sketches of florals from a book or whatever. And the lady was like, I thought all your works were original and you're using a book. Like, I'm really disappointed. I was like, first of all, this is not my drawing. This is Lori's and it's awesome. And second of all, what the heck? Like she's just using it for reference. But this lady got like so upset. And she's like, no, I see it now. I see who you really are. I was like so confused. I don't know. She never responded after that. So.
Oh my gosh.
No, I was like, no, I'm sharing other people's work. I can't do all these things. Like, it's just funny. So,
all the different things.
Who is the person who made the GIF? What is her business? I can picture her face. I can't think of her name.
Is that handwritten by Kat?
No, it was Green Country Creative, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay, and then other people have been using it.
Which is very cool. We have a GIF, you guys. Yeah, it's very exciting. One a Day in May. Love it. So yeah, now we're going to do Christmas in July. We're all doing Christmas stuff in July. So get your Santa hats ready.
Get them ready, everybody. All right. But all that to say, you guys have totally rocked it. And I know that we have a couple different coupon codes floating around there for the directory. Our affiliates have some. I think we have one dedicated to the podcast. But if you wanted to specifically join on behalf of celebrating One a Day in May, and maybe you did it and you want to get your products produced and all that stuff, then definitely join us at the A to Z directory with code 1ADAY2021. That's all caps, 1ADAY 2021. We're going to be sending out some emails this week too to remind all of you guys who've maybe been stalking us in the directory and wondering if you should join. Well, this is your chance because you can get $25 off your first year with that coupon code. And we would absolutely love to have you in there because then we can help you create all the beautiful things that you have been making or print the watercolor things that you've been painting and all this stuff.
Yeah, make all the fun things. Let us do all the hard work of searching for you so you can just make the stuff and sell it and make a profit. And boom, there you go.
Boom, there you go. You've got it. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps up for today. You know where to find us. If you want to ask another Q and Cake question, you can go to bizbirthdaybash.com/podcast, and there's a button at the top of the page, or you can scroll down to the footer of our website. There's a button in the footer as well for Q and Cake to submit questions. And leave us a rating and review, please, on iTunes. We love hearing from you guys, and I think we've been averaging like 2 reviews a month.
That is subpar, everybody. So
I'm like, I'd like to get that up to 5, maybe 5 a month would be good.
1 a week. I feel like 1 a week is someone can leave 1 review a week and you guys can be like, you know what, today, this is my week. This is my week to leave the review. I'm going to leave it right now. You're like,
I feel bad for like our Android and Spotify people because they're like, I want to leave a review, but I can't.
Oh, well,
because the reviews are on iTunes, which is just so bizarre that I don't know, like maybe Spotify needs to have a place where people can leave reviews too. That would be nice.
You would think they would like figure this out. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So leave a review if you can. If you can't, then screenshot us in your stories and be like, love these gals, they're the best. There's some copy for you. So you can it's very original.
Oh, I love that. All right. We love you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in. We will talk to you next time.
Toodles.
Hey guys, we just wanted to hop in and talk about one of our amazing resources, the A to Z directory. All of us have thought at some point, how did she do that or how did she make that? And maybe you don't know where to start or how the heck to produce this amazing product you've dreamt up.
Well, the A to Z directory is the missing puzzle piece in your biz, you guys. Seriously. So it's built in the form of a yearly membership, and it's your one-stop shop for finding suppliers and vendors for all the things. Literally where to print everything from custom invitations, greeting cards, mugs, koozies, acrylic printing, letterpress, custom ribbon. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And it literally goes from A to Z. From acrylic printers to zipper pouches, we have it in the A to Z directory.
We want to help all of you search less and create more with this list of 300 plus vendors and suppliers. Don't worry, they're very organized. It's not going to be overwhelming and confusing when you join. And this membership also includes access to a private Facebook community. It's incredibly active and involved. And if you need a question answered fast, that is definitely the place to go.
Yeah, our Facebook group really is the best, you guys. Everyone is so helpful in there. And we're in there too, answering questions you guys might have. So it's a great way to get access to us and ask us things without sliding into our DMs. So we're more likely to answer you in the Facebook group, just saying. Anyway, also in the Facebook group, this is new for 2020 and we're really excited about it. We are hosting monthly Power Hour Q&A sessions that are live, and these are only available to our A to Z directory members. So you can hop in with us live and ask us all your burning questions in real time and just hang out with us every month. And we do these at different times so you can actually be there live, and the replays are always available in the Facebook group for members.
This resource is priced at $147 a year, which honestly is extremely affordable and is full of so many benefits, such as exclusive vendor coupons for members only. And we would love to have you guys join. Seriously, it's kind of like our family and our tribe. So visit bizbirthdaybash.com/directory to sign up today and use coupon code podcast2020 to receive $20 off your first year. That's podcast, all caps, 2020 for $20 off your first year.
We can't wait to see you in the Facebook group.